Good day everyone, this is John here from 3D Create Tutorials and welcome to my channel. In this actual tutorial I'll be showing you how to create this fun sci-fi pistol. So come join along. Thanks. Alright, so we're going to actually now take this square and delete it with the delete key. And we're also going to go back to Snap to Grids here and make sure we put down 0.5. So we're going to bring down one section. This will help us control it a little bit better. And now I'm going to use the line tool here to kind of create the actual rectangle. You could use the actual rectangles tool as well, but I'm going to do it with the line just to kind of have a little bit more control. So I'm going to select the edges out, about 2 sections out, and then I'm going to bring it down or across basically to the other side, 2 sections, and then down 7, and then back to the other side, and then I'll reconnect them together to make it into a actual rectangle. So right there, and then connect, and there you go. Now I'm going to select the 2 points by going to the point selection mode over on the top here. Okay, so let's select those 2 points, and we're going to actually hit the B key, and we're going to pull them out as a chamfer, so on the negative. And we still have the constraints on, which is fine for that part. Now we're going to take that off and do the other side as well. Hit OK or Enter, it's fine. And we can now select the 2 points on top, select those 2, and again, hit the B key, and we're going to pull this out on the plus this time. So this is going to be a lot more rounded. So 2 completely different shapes to create the base of this pistol. So that's your first start, is creating that section there. Now we're going to create an actual extrusion of this to create the form. So here we go. So we're going to zoom out a little bit and go to the side view so we see what we're doing. And now we can select the actual spline to curve. So select that. And we're going to come over to the side here and just kind of pull out a section here, just like that. We're going to set a point right about there. And then we're going to start bringing this out more. We're going to hit the tab key as well to make it so it's a little bit more control. And we're going to pull this out a little bit so it's past the line there and a little bit outward at an angle. Just to give it some start lines here is what we're looking for. And again, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, spline curve, we're going to pull this out. We're going to bring it up about the same amount of space. And we're going to start bringing this out again. Again, hit the tab key to control the direction a little bit better. And we're going to start pulling this out at an angle. And this time we're going to go opposite way to kind of give the form of the opposite turn. And there we go. So one thing we're going to do now is we're going to select these lines and kind of center them. So we're going to hit the G key and the F key, select the point there and bring it to the center right there. And the same thing here, G key, F key, and we're going to actually bring it right to the center of that space. So right on the actual green line, right there. All right, cool. So that will make sure that when we extrude this, it's exactly lined up properly. And again, I know that this is not going to actually go all the way upward into this space with the sweep. It will never make it there because of the curvature is so difficult to create that form. But anyway, we're still going to continue to move on this thing. So I'm going to hit both lines and kind of just making this section here is what I'm looking for. All right. So I'm going to go back and kind of adjust a little bit more first. So I'm going to select some points and kind of just bring these things down a little bit more. Just trying to get a little bit better control. And this one can bring back a little bit more. And this one as well, G key. Okay, you can make any shape you want just to get the basis of the start is what we're looking for. So that when we connect to the other shape, it already has the direction is what we're trying to do here. Just kind of create a line on the side here to help it along, but this time use the spline curve again. So again, get about there, hit the tab key, control it, and we're going to bring it kind of close to the center here and out just to help control the actual extrusion of this line. So we're trying to kind of match the other side there and a little bit centered. So about there. Something like that looks great. All right, cool. Now make sure it's on the side, which it is. So again, select the base is still selected. Go to your sweep. And we're going to select this line first, this line, and then this line. And now it actually formed properly. As you can see, it's actually on the sides exactly. So again, it's good to get that first one on the side and then the two on the sides. Okay, so now that we got the main form here on the bottom, we're going to create another form on top. And this is going to be basically the main shaft. So keep in mind this is actually going to go toward this way, and there'll be like more of a, I guess, a gun end on this side, the front of it, basically here, just to give it a nice form, kind of something different. So we're going to go back to the Y here and bring this down a little bit. And again, I'm going to go ahead and use the actual point with the center here for the rectangle. And I'm going to also connect this to Snap to Grid just to give it a nice form. So down the center here, I'm going to go something like this. And with this one, I'm going to go with points. Select both of these. Now take the Snap to Grid off, and I'm going to hit the B key here and just pull this out. I'll make sure it's on a plus this time. And again, a lot more rounded is what I'm looking for here, and hit OK. So now I have a totally different shape than this bottom one, right? So I'm going to now select the line, hit the G key, and I'm going to move this back about here. We're now going to go in and make sure that same line is still selected. And we're going to hit the extrude key and just kind of extrude it all the way over here. Kind of like that. Right there is perfect. And I'm good with that. I'm going to bring this down now. It's a little too high, of course. So select it, G key, bring it down. So we're going to go about right about there. Hit OK. So this is going to look like kind of like this. You know, it's going to have this form. It's going to connect back to this. And this will be more of a nice smooth transition here. So kind of things that we did before are going to be very similar. We're going to cut this in half now. And to do that, we're going to select both of these in the center here, select the line, and again, go straight up, just like that, right click, and there you go. Go ahead and select these two objects here. Make sure they're both selected with the yellow. I'm going to hit the C key, and now I'm going to select this line here and hit OK. Now select these two sides here and delete them. There we go. So now we got our forms. They're starting to come together, and this is kind of how it works. So a couple of things we can do to kind of make this look a little bit better. Before I do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and start connecting these things. So we're going to start off with the F key here. We're going to hit the bridge curve, and we're going to select right on the edge here, but not the very tip, just right to the bottom of this, right? And we're going to select over here, but the problem is that it will not really connect very well because you can do it like this, but I kind of want to have a better control of this. So I want this to kind of end. I'm going to think about right about here, right? So to do that, we can make another line. We can zoom this out a little bit. I'm going to go about right about there. And this will be our cut, right? So you can go in here and select it, hit the C key, and we could do this. Now, keep in mind that when we do this, it actually creates two separate objects. So when I recombine them, it makes it a little more difficult. Another way you could do this is Control R, and you can actually create the line here without having it completely separated from each other. Now you can go in and select both of these and join them. And that works too, because now you got one object again. And that's the easy way to do that without having to create each of these sections. So anyway, I'm going to now go in and hit the F key again, hit the bridge curve. And again, I'm going to select right about here. I'm going to reconnect this to this very edge here. Now it has to be past that point, right? So we can hit G1, G1. And we're going to now bring this all the way back, this way to 0, and this one all the way up. And this gives us that nice curvature that will work. So it kind of helps us, make that form kind of, toward this section here. And now that we've done that, we can now go and hit E, and we can actually extrude it this way. Hit that, say OK. Go and select this edge now, and we're going to hide this, just like that. Cool. So we're getting there. We got the first form. Now, one thing we could do is we can select this form again, from this to this, and that's another way to do it. And it'll be a little bit wider on this end, which is kind of interesting because it's a little bit less, but this is tighter on this end, so we can get away with it. So again, hit the F key, bridge curve. We're going to select here again. And we're going to select this line right here, just like that. Now, again, we're going to hit G1, G1. We're going to go back to the point where it actually goes to that line. We're going to go upward with this one now. So we got to make sure it's opposite. And we got to make sure that it doesn't, like curve like this. See how it's curving? It's just not going to work very well. It's going to be problematic with this way. We need to kind of fix that. So the problem is it's kind of bunching up. So we could take some of this tension off just by pulling this back. The thing is, why it's causing this is because this is rotated out, right? And that causes it to kind of float back in. But we can use this to our advantage to kind of give it a nice form. However, don't want to go too far with it. So let's go and bring it back just a bit more. Just like that. Now, what we can do instead of doing that is cancel that. We can go back in here and kind of give ourselves a nice edge here. So select it, B key, and just pull this out. What I want to do now is I want this curve to help us drive a better look. And this curve here, again, B key, and we'll pull this out. So we're going to get a nice, smooth edge, even though it has a kind of a different form here. And I think that will work fine. And what we can do here is also hit OK. Go ahead and now and hit the F key again, bridge curve, and again we're going to select this very inner piece here, kind of about right about there. And again, we don't have anything on the end here, so escape, go back to the side here. Okay, and I need to put a kind of a control point here. So again, use the line, bring it down, just like that. I'm going to use this to kind of connect this piece too, so it's not too far away. This is really far, this is not. That's kind of the look I want. So let's select this, C key again, hit this, hit OK. Now we got two shapes, right? Now we can take these two and just merge them with the J key, and we still got our line, which is exactly what we wanted, right? So delete that, delete this. And there we go. This gives us a lot better control now. All right, so let's do this. So F key, bridge curve. I'm going to get right to the bottom of this, or close to the edge here, just like that. And right there, just like that. Now we can bring this all the way up and just all the way down, the opposite way. G1, G1. And we have a nice form now. Now let's keep an eye on this one. You see it's kind of digging into that a little bit. I'm going to take this tension down just a little bit. And that will give us a nice curvature here to kind of smooth it out. Hit OK. Sometimes you got to do that. Extrude. Again, opposite way. Hit OK. And now select this line, and we can hide it. So hide. All right, cool. So a couple things we can now do is we got that kind of worked out. I need to work this one out. So again, this is perfect the way it is. So F key, bridge curve, get closer here, and we can go here, and G1, G1, bring this up, just like that, and the opposite way, just like that. Hit OK. Go back to the side and see how this looks. See again, it is kind of leading a little bit farther down than this one, which I didn't want. So Control Z. Make sure you don't actually say OK before you actually get a chance to look at it. So F key. Okay, so let's go back. F, bridge curve. Select this line and this line. G1, G1. Again, let's do this again. Back to 1. Back to 1. And again, we're going to go to, don't hit OK. We're just going to the side. And again, I want to bring this down. See, this should be just as low as this one because it's actually lower. So we got to make sure that tension goes down just like before, but even maybe a little bit small, a bit lower. Hit OK. And that looks good. E key, and again, F key, and just bring it straight out. Hit the OK button, select this and hide it. H, and to start creating this now, select all 4 of these sections. Just like that. And we're going to do an actual Shift J. Now, the reason why this is not working is because we have this in the way. So I'm going to cancel. We need to get rid of this piece right here, these 2 pieces. So go ahead and select both of these. Shift X to get rid of it. And there we go. Now let's try this again. So again, select this one. Select this one, and this one. Hit the Shift J again, and you see that worked great. Now, again, it's all depending on how you work stuff, right? Hit the G1 and G1. That's all we need for this to work. Now, again, select this, Shift this, Shift X, and we got that deleted. Cool. All right, we're going to take this now and turn it, and we're going to connect this here. So first going to select this section here, hit the Shift key, and we're going to select all 4 sections here, and again hit the Shift J. So now we've done that. Again, we're going to hit G1 here, G1, G1, and G0, just the way it is. So hit OK. Now we can select this section here, Shift X, and delete it. All right, so now we got a nice form going there. See, the problem is this edge is a little too far out. At the last second, it kind of cut out, which is causing a lot of these issues with rejoining. So the best way to get around this edge here is that really the problem is these things are curving really sharp at the ends. And honestly, the best thing to do is just deal with it now. Shift X. Otherwise, we're going to be doing this for hours, and it's going to be difficult to get that form that we want. So suggestion, whenever you have problems that you start seeing with forms, just backtrack a little bit. And to get around this, okay, we already have the form here, but I'm just going to take this from here to here and take that and just right click. A good way to make sure that you get the exact basic line is I would use this, for instance, and then make sure it's selected here and then continues on that path, right? This way it's exactly perfectly aligned. And then we can do G key and just kind of move this into place. Now, what this will do for us is this will take away all these sharp edges here and give us a little bit more, easier to connect. Go ahead and select the object here, C key, and then cut it, hit OK. Let's get rid of this piece here, and there we go. Now, this should be much easier. So let's start working this real quick. Again, same process. I'm going to use the line, use this line, and F key first, bridge curve. So let's do this real quickly here. We've done this once before. So right there, here, like that. We're going to go all the way up and all the way down, or up and up. And the tension, and we'll put G1, G1, and we'll hit OK. And then we'll extrude this one. This one's perfectly the right way again. And now we can go back and just select this one and hide it, right? All right, cool. So that's one. Now, second one, easy enough. Let's go and take this one, hide it. This one, hide it. F key, bridge curve. Let's go ahead and go closer. About right there. Make sure it's not on the tip. And we're going to take this one and go right here to this side. There we go. G1, G1. We're going to take this down and bring this all the way to the other side. And let's see how this looks. This one's fine. Not a lot of issues. Hit OK. Again, extrude. F key. Go to the side. Opposite. Hit OK. Now we take this and hide it. And let's go ahead and quickly just take these four sections together and reconnect them. So we can move that over here, this one here, this one here. Shift J. Again, we'll make sure this is G1 like before. G1. Hit Enter. Now we'll take these two sections here and do a Shift X. There we go. Got our first shape. Now let's go and do the next one. F key, bridge curve. Again, right there. And this time here. Like that. Again, we're going to do G1, G1. We're going to bring this up to the edge here. We're going to take this one and take it to the other edge. And now we're going to look at the forms here. So before we were having this like really, really harsh edge here. Now that's gone away. It's actually much nicer. And I don't have to do anything with the tension. That's a good sign. So keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff. So let's go ahead now, take this edge. I'm going to first say, OK. Take the edge here, A key, F key to the side, and just bring it straight up. Select this edge, and we're going to hide it again. All right, so let's continue to build this now. And we'll see what the difference is once we get closer. So we've got all three of the four sections selected. We're going to hit the Shift J here. And Shift J. There we go. Now, keep in mind, again, we could do all G1. However, I'm going to take this off and make this G0. This way, everything is really smooth. And hit OK. So now we select this one here. Shift Exit and get rid of it. Cool. So we're getting the form that we need, even with these weird shapes that we have. So let's continue on the other side now. So what can we do when we have a very smooth, rounded shape with kind of a more of a hard shape? So when we made this shape here, it was very rounded throughout the whole thing with this shape here, right? So this is actually a hard shape, and this is, I'm sorry, a round shape, and this is a hard shape. So it's really hard to connect these two together to make it right. So one way we can deal with this is just basically Shift X this, get rid of it. And we can use this to kind of help, get this to work right. So what I can do here is just take these sections here. So we can take the line. We can just go ahead and just simply select right where the point is, select where the point is, and select where the point is. And then back to this one, right? And this will be a simple, same shape. We could also do a Shift J here just to make a copy of it, right? So Shift J, hit OK. And now that we've done that, we can go in here and delete this. And we have two forms or two objects now. So what can we do to make this work? Take both of these, J key, and it becomes 1 again, right? So we kind of got the form now. So let's see how this works with a hard shape and a hard shape. Again, with the rounded and soft shape here and the hard shape here, it just wasn't really working very well. So we're going to go ahead and hit the F key again, hit the bridge curve. Again, there's so many different ways to work this stuff out. You just got to kind of work through it and figure it out. So we're going to select this here. I'm also going to bring this back up and bring this one back down. And I'll make sure that G1, G1, and hit OK. And we can go to the side view here and extrude. E key, F key, and we'll go from the edge here straight out. That's great. Now we can go back here, take this one, hide it. All right. So let's see what we got here. We got this shape, or this edge, this edge. We have this edge and this edge. Now let's see if we can connect this stuff together. So again, we're going to hit the Shift J. And it did work really well. So G1 here to make it smooth transition. G1, G1 again, smooth transition. And G1. Now, it could stay at G0 because it is a hard shape, just like this other one is. And we can stick with that. Great. So let's go ahead now, select this one here, and hit the Shift X. And now we're actually getting somewhere. So this is going to be a little bit more complicated because, again, we definitely have a hard shape with a smooth shape. And let's see if we can work this out. So let's go ahead and now select this one. Shift this one, this one, this one, all the way down. And make sure this is selected. This one. And there we go. Shift J, and we got a shape. Now, keep in mind, we're going to go with G1, 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 G1. Yeah, this looks fine. What's really is edgy is this piece right here. And we can go back to that, see what we got. So what the problem is this connection again to these pieces up here. So we can go ahead and say cancel. We can now go back and take this one here. Again, select the line, line, line. We're going to go all the way down. Here we go. Got them all selected. Shift J. And we're going to make this G1, 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 G1. Now, this could be G0 again. And this could be G0. You see how it kind of is forming? This is not looking that good. Okay. G1 works there. And G0 is the only one we need to keep here and here. So now that we've done this, we could take this off and see what it looks like again. And you see that this is still a very edgy shape, which is what we want. This is very smooth. And it's all correlating together the way it should. Very cool. Hit OK. And that's kind of how you make a hard shape and a soft shape. Now, we can go back here and go back to the lines. And we go ahead and just select this whole thing, right? And we can make this now basically a softer shape by just pulling it out with a plus just a little bit to give it a nice form. And same with this one. So again, pull it out a little bit on the plus. Hit OK, there we go. Now when I take this off, we got a very smooth transition. And it's very clean. Yeah, that's kind of how you do that type of shape. Now we can go back in again and use the mirror tool, opposite side. We can go with union halves and hit OK. So we definitely have a very different type of shape here, which is great. All right, so let's continue to build this out now. All right, so I'm going to go in and kind of adjust some things. So we got a sheet here. I'm just basically going to make another copy. Once you get your form that you really like, it's really good to make a copy of it and kind of just put it in its own little folder. And again, you could just do that by selecting it, making a copy, Shift D, and then you can go to the actual Control G to put it in its own basic group. And then I'm going to rename it so I don't mess with it no more. So that's basically how I kind of work these things. Once I got my shape that I really like, I continue to build out. All right, so let's go and continue now with the other shape. Now I'm going to select all this with the Alt key around this whole thing. And again, hit Shift J, and this will close up the bottom on the side, close up the side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom and the front. So again, Shift J and hit OK. Same thing on the other side. And you can just hit Enter if you want. That's another easy way to do it. So select it with the Alt key, Shift J, and then hit OK. So this is just to get it closed. So now it becomes a solid basically instead of a sheet. Again, I'm trying to work the actual solid, so when I actually cut into it, it cuts into it properly. Now, a couple things to look at is this line here. I want to make a line here to help make a section here. And if you take the existing line on this curve, it really helps to kind of drive that by just bringing it out, straight out. And then you can hit the G key and move this around to make this work. So I'm going to bring this to the back end here and kind of use this to kind of make the same flow as the handle. So that way it kind of, emulates that same curvature or that same bend. And once I select it, I'm going to hit the G key and just move it over. Again, I'm just trying to get it somewhere centered into that space so it doesn't really impact it as much. And on the bottom as well, it doesn't really impact that corner either. So there we go. So select the object now, and we're going to use the C key, and we'll cut this. Great. So now we can take this and just delete it, the surface selection. So select the surface, select this, and then hit the O key. I want to use this to help kind of drive a smaller section into this space, not too much. And the farther you go, the more that line gets sharp at the bottom. So kind of just want to just dial this in a little bit better. So bring it about there. Cool. Hit OK. And now we can actually do some more adjustments. So this time I'm going to use the line here to kind of help, create the shape. I'm going to try to use the same, angle here so it works properly. See how it kind of goes along that angle? It just works perfect that way. And now I can go back to the other line and do the same thing. Bring it down from this edge here, straight down, and then connect to the other dot, just like that. Now, if you're not exactly straight, just go ahead and straighten it up. All right, cool. So now we can select both of these, and now we can move it with the G key. I'm going to use the V to move it, so that way it's lined up properly. And I'm going to bring this out. Perfect. All right, so hit OK, and we're going to continue to build this out. So now that we've done this, we can go in and kind of adjust some things. I'm going to use it in the actual rectangular array, and I'm going to bring this out and try to line this up to the same exact, line as what I just did. And here I'm going to reduce this down to about 3. And then I'm going to bring it back in a little bit so it's more accurate. Something like that. I also want to move this a little bit more so it's kind of like centered into that space. So go ahead and select these G key, and I'm going to continue to move this downward into that space, just like that, and hit OK. Now I can take these with the surface selection, select all 3, and I can extrude these into the space. So hit E to extrude. And I'm going to bring it right to the corner there, kind of giving this the right angle. I extruded it out basically straight through, hit the OK, and now I'm going to go in and actually, get rid of these things here. And now I'm going to rotate it. So delete that and this. Select all 3 sections there and delete it. All right. So now we can select all 3 of these, and we can rotate it. So let's hit the R key, and we're going to hit the actual V key, and I'm going to select it right near the bottom of that, so I can actually turn it right at the right angle, exactly. Something like that. I'm going to go too far in, just about there. Just giving it some different variations here. Hit OK. Now we can select the edges on all 6 of these. So select each of these. Make sure your line selection is able to see to show edges. All right, there we go. Now pull this out on the plus, right about there, and hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and mirror this over. And I don't have to do this. I can do this next time, but I'm going to hit the opposite side. I just want to see what this looks like. So first select that, and we'll select all 6 of these. And we're going to use the Q key to cut into it. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and select it with the Alt key and go around this whole thing. But first of all, I'm going to do these edges here. I want to kind of get this done right. So let's go and select all 6 of these. And we're going to use the bottom here and select all the bottom ones. Move this over a little bit. Same with this one. Bottom here, and as well as that one. All right, so I got those all selected now. I'm going to select all these as well. And pull it out on the plus. So go the opposite way. Not too much. Just kind of dial in the center a little bit here. Right about there. A bit more. Okay, perfect. Hit OK. And this will give it a nice smooth, feel to it. Just take the edges off, see what we got. See how clean it looks. And we definitely need to do the main outer edge as well. So we can now select this and hit the E key and move this into the space. Now, one thing I did when I did this is I went a little too far on it, even though I can't tell right here. It went too far and it caused that like a cutout in the bottom. That's why I had to put another object there to kind of, offset that, which it made it look nice, but sometimes you just need to work around it. So I'm continue to actually use now the fillet tool to kind of clean this up. I'm going to select all these sections here, as well as this Alt key. And pull this out. So it's a nice smooth transition between the two. Make sure it doesn't cut into it. There we go. Good with that. Hit OK. And now we could do this inner one. So I'm going to pull this out on the plus a little bit. Right about there. And about 0.01. Just to give it a nice edge. And now we take the edges off and see what we got. Yeah, that looks much nicer. As you see, I did cut a section out by accident here. I went too far on that extrude, which is fine. We can work around this. I could always close both the bottom and top. However, I kind of decided to put something else in that space to make it look nice, just to give it some variations. So here I'm created this actual disk, bringing it over to the actual hole. Again, there's a lot of things you can do to change things around, right? Let's go ahead now and extrude this. Hit the surface mode, select it, hit extrude, bring it up, straight up. Hit OK. And now we can actually go in and move this upward. So first of all, I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to kind of adjust this. So I'm going to go with a chamfer on this one. And then these two sections here, I'll do a fillet. Hit OK. All right, cool. Now I can take this object and move it upward, just right into this space. There we go. And just trying to, dial this in a little bit better. So I'm going to bring this up a little bit more, right there. Hit OK. I'm going to actually cut into it with a boolean and merge it together, but I decided not to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust a few things inside this inner section here. First of all, I'm going to boolean this like I was doing before and kind of cut that into the space, which is fine. But now I also want to clean up some things. So I'm going to go into the inner edge here and kind of straighten this up with the line tool. Just go and select this and pull this out a little bit. Something like that. Okay, well, first of all, let's go and do this intersection. Let's hit the Alt key. So select it with Alt, and this one with Alt, with Shift, and this one as well. Now let's pull this out just a little bit on the plus, just to give it a little bit nicer, form there, and hit OK. There we go. Cancel. All right, so we're going to bring this up a little bit. Now I'm going to use the actual line tool here after we hit OK, and we're going to just change the top a little bit here. So again, we're going to do a chamfer here and hit OK. Then we're going to select these two lines and actually make it a little bit of fillet there just to make it smooth, just to give it a nice looking curvature. And I'm good with that. Okay, I went in here and hit the Alt key, trying to get this curvature a little bit better. Just going to select these two right here with the Alt key, and again, I'm going to make sure it goes all the way around, all the way up to this corner. So go all the way up, and the same with this other side. There we go. Now we can pull this out just a little bit. Just give it a smoother transition there. Right about there, hit OK. All right, so let's go ahead and go in here and hit the Alt key, and as well as this other side. And we could pull this out just a little bit with the plus, just to give it a nice edge. Most likely we won't even see this, but that's fine. Hit OK. And then we can do the bottom here, both sides. Shift, of course, and then pull this out. Again, just a little bit on the plus. And then hit OK. All right, cool. So we're going to unhide that, see how that looks. We can also now hit the M key and just give it a different, color. So hit OK. Again, I'm not on render mode or shaded mode. Okay, let's take the edges off, see how this looks. And we do a lot of experimentation, see how things look. So we're going to pull this down a little bit darker. M key again. Bring this much darker. Hit OK. Yeah, that's looking really good, so I'm good with that. All right, so here I'm basically getting the disk tool, and I'm kind of bringing out another disk in the side here just to kind of give it some different characteristics here. And I just thought it would look nice to have a disk here in this section here. So once I laid it out in here, I'm actually going to adjust it now, kind of place it where I think it should go, as well as maybe scale it up a little bit and scale it down. So this is what I was doing to kind of get the look of this. So again, just trying to maneuver this into place, scaled it down just a little bit. Again, G key just to move it around, and just trying to get where I think it would look nice, has just a different shape within this object. So now that I got it here, I'm going to actually get the line and kind of just bring it out with the G key again. So I could actually cut into this space. So hit OK once you get it out of that space. You can see it clearly. And then you can go in here and just kind of select the surface here and kind of, bring it into the actual other object here. This will come out really nice this way. I'm not really too concerned about the other side because I'm just going to mirror this over afterwards and kind of position this. Here I'm actually making a copy of the edge here by doing Shift D and making another copy of that again, and then scaling it down just to give it a nice, beveled look. Now I can take this two surfaces and make it into a object or solid with the actual loft key. So select both, hit L, and it becomes its own object. And then we can go in and just get rid of these edges, of course. So select both of these and delete them or hide them, whichever you want to do. Now that I got the form, I'm kind of just thinking about what I want to do here. So I'm actually going to create now a little rectangle, and I'm going to bring it to the side in the front, actually. So right there. And then I'm going to go to the top here and kind of just get a little closer so I can actually control this better with the actual edges on so I can see what I'm doing. Bring this up about there. Again, just thinking about what I want to do here. I'm going to select the surface here and kind of extrude it into the space. And then hit Enter to accept. Now, just trying to think about the overall look of this. So I decided to kind of bring this out of the way over to the side here, because I'm going to use this to kind of cut into this shape. Okay, go to the side view, and then we're going to adjust this a little bit. So we're going to rotate it, and we're going to bring it inward like that. And hit OK. Now we can select the lines, and we can adjust these now. So I'm going to try to scale here, but that's not going to work. So what you need to do is you kind of need to select each one of these separately and actually move it with the G key. Okay, so select one side here. I'm going to hit the G key, and we're going to move it to the side. And we're going to copy the exact, amount here with Control C. And then we're going to the opposite side, and we're going to actually do the same thing, G, and move it to the side. But this time we're going to take that negative off. So exactly the same. And hit OK. All right, so let's go and select the bottom two sections. So select these two bottom sections, and we're going to use the actual B key, and we're going to make this nice and smooth around, just like that. Hit OK. Now we can actually take this with the G key or the R key and rotate it a little bit more. So I'm going to take the line here and just kind of rotate it inward, just to give it some variations, kind of like that. And then this back piece here, I'm going to do a fillet. So I'm going to pull this out on the plus, hit OK. Now take this object here, and we're going to do a radial ray around this object. So select the center of this point. There we go. And we're going to bring this up to about 18. Great. Hit OK. Now we can actually go in and kind of change some things here. So first of all, I'll select the main object here, and then select these other objects here. And I'm going to hit the Q key and hit OK. I want to see what this looks like. Go ahead and delete those pieces. And now I'm going to go in and just select this whole thing with the line tool. And again, hit the B key. So we can actually start adjusting and adding some fillets to this. So let's pull this out just a little bit. On the plus. So it's a fillet, basically. Not too much, about right there. Hit OK. All right, cool. So this object's going to be cutting into the other object, if that makes any sense. Just to give, it's like a cutter, basically. So now I'm going to pull this in and bring it into the other object, just so I can get some different forms. Hit OK once I moved it. Now I'm going to bring this back a little bit more. I think it's a little too far out, so I move that in with the surface selection. Now I'm going to select this again and move it again. G key, and move it into the space. Right about there. Yeah. All right, cool. Now we can hit OK. Okay, so I'm going to select the main disk first, and then this piece here. And I'm going to hit the Q key once I do that. And I'm going to hit OK. And I kept it by accident, which is fine, but I'm going to select it now and just basically delete that. So select that piece right there and hit the delete key. And there we go. Now we got our form that's within that form. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So now that I've done that, we can take this surface and kind of bring it back a little bit. This thing is a little too aggressive in that intersection there. Let's make it look nicer, a little closer to the edge here. So I brought it back in, and there we go. Okay, so we're going to go back here now and looking at this object, see what we can do. Let's look at the lines itself and see what we can adjust here. So now I'm going to select the main thing here and just kind of hit the Alt key and this one as well, and hit the B key so we can adjust it with a nice fillet. So go ahead and pull this out a little bit, not a lot. We're going to do this on the plus, not the negative. So about right about there. Great, and hit OK. And we can do this outer edge and pull this out. So we're going to actually pull this. All right, so I'm good with that actually. Fillet there, so just brought it out a little bit on the plus. Okay, so we're going to do some other things now. I'm going to go back in and kind of adjust some things. Okay, so now we're going to actually go select the surface selection, and we're going to select some of these sections here, like this one here, as well as the piece in the front to kind of break this up a little bit with a little different, like an outer shell type thing or inner shell. So I'm going to select both of these. And I'm going to hit the Shift D to make a copy of this. So Shift D. And this creates a whole new object. And again, it's exactly on the surface. So we got to make sure we actually make this a little thicker, as well as or inner, or whichever way you want to do it. But I personally am here going to just adjust this a little bit. I'm going to go the opposite way into the space. So again, thicker. And we're going to bring it the other way. So we're just going to go a little bit negative into the space. And then we're going to adjust some things. Just like that. Hit OK. Okay, so now we can actually go in there and kind of just hide this. First of all, I'm going to make sure I got the right object here selected. I'm going to bring this out just a little bit. So it's past the edge, basically. And just bring it out so I can work with it. So here I'm going to actually select the surface here on both of these edges and kind of just pull this out a little bit more. Just want to make it a little thicker into the space. Cool. Now we can kind of reform this piece here. That's kind of the idea. So I really like the forms that we have, like the different, cuts here and there. So I'm going to use this to kind of help drive the look here. So I'm going to use this line again and bring it out straight along that actual axis there, and then just bring this out. I'm going to use this to help cut that front piece a little bit, just to give it some variations. Bring it back a little bit there, right about there. All right, cool. So now I can select the main object there and hit the C key. And then we can select this. And that will cut it right in half. And then delete it. So I can bring it back into the space now and kind of get closer to the actual area. See how this is all going to, look once I cut it into the space. Again, I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. I don't want it sticking out too much because it doesn't look as nice if it's too thick on that. All right, so hit OK. And I'm going to do a little bit of fillets on the edges of this thing. Cool. All right, so I'm going to fast forward this fillet part because it's all similar. All right, so now I'm going to start creating some other shapes to add to this actual barrel. And I'm going to use the same actual angle as what I had on the other sections. So here we go. So I'm going to use this edge here to help control this. So I'm going to use a line and kind of use the same exact, angle as we did before. Just the same technique. Grab that, put that there, right click. I'm actually going to create another one right next to it. So Shift D and move it over. And then I'm going to actually select a line tool and then create another one of these. So I'm going to move these over a little bit first, like that, and a little bit down, right about there. Cool. Now I'm going to use the line tool here to connect the top pieces together, and then right click, and the same thing on the bottom. So there to there, and right click. So now I'm going to extrude this piece out so I can actually work on it. So I'm going ahead and push this through just like that. And yeah, I think that will look nice. Hit OK. And now we could actually get the edges of this object that we just did, these two right here, and use the B key to kind of pull this out. So make this into a fillet. Hit OK. But first I'm going to go ahead and stuck this out here, but I should have done the bottom pieces first, but that's OK. So I'm going to pull that out just like that. Hit OK. And now I'm going to go ahead and get all 6 of these now. It would be quicker if I did it the other way, but that's okay. So now I'm going to select this one, that, and the main one, and then cut this out with the Q key. Hit OK. And now we've cut into the space. But like I said, if I would have done the actual bevel beforehand, it would have come out a little bit easier, less steps. So now I'm going to go and select these 6 sections on the bottoms. And I'm going to do a nice fillet on this. So go all the way around. And we'll pull this out on the plus. I'm going to rotate this with the V key right on the top to kind of give it a nice angle. And I'm going to pull this back out, something like that. Cool. Hit OK. And now I can select the main object and then select these sections here. And we can use the Q key to cut it. Hit OK. So I can delete these now. So delete. Now we can select these sections around it and kind of smooth it out a little bit. So go ahead and hit the Alt key and Shift Alt, and get all these pieces, all the edges. All right. And now we can pull this out. Make sure it's all on the outside, not the inside. and this one as well. Okay, let's pull this out on the plus. So it gives a nice smooth transition. Cool. All right, so now I'm going to actually add another shape into the center of that actual circle section. So let's go ahead and mirror some of these items first. So I'm actually mirroring this over, and I'm actually making sure that I had them actually connected together afterwards. So again, mirror. Kind of just going through all of these real quick and mirroring them all so I can get the other side exactly the same. So go ahead and union halves. Now, if you've got a problem with one of these, you could always just maybe move it a little bit just to adjust it. Sometimes that's what solves the problem. So for instance, this was not working and I was just able to kind of just, basically bring it back in a little bit so it wasn't going to overcut something inside. So we can actually go in here first, and I'm going to go ahead and add another shape here real quick before I continue this effort. So I'm going to go here and just pull this in, cut into the shape. So I'm going to select it again, actual object selection, select this, and then go ahead and hit Q, and again hit OK. And now I could actually get rid of the line here, and then select the line, the top one inside. I'm going to pull that out. So let me get to the edge there and then select it, pull it out, and I'm going to do a chamfer on this one to kind of pull it out a little bit, just to give it some variation. And again, I'm good with that there, so hit OK. And then I can go back and select these two lines and then do a small fillet just to get it nice and clean. So pull it back a little bit with the plus. There we go, hit OK. All right, cool. So now I like the shape. I could go in and now start creating more of the actual mirrors. So select it, mirror, and we'll do the opposite side. So select this one, make sure I use union halves, and there we go. So now that's completed. I'm going to go to a different surface mode to see what I'm looking at. We'll take this off. And I like the way this is looking. All right, so I'm going to create another shape here. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do here. I'm going to, again, use that same technique we did earlier. Kind of drive a nice section within this handle. So I'm going to go here to the angle, first of all, to the side. Use the line tool. Let's go ahead and get rid of that first. Delete it. Okay, go ahead and go with the line. And we're going to do like we did earlier. Just kind of follow the actual line next to it. And I'm kind of getting closer to see what I'm doing. Just trying to keep the same distance away, and I'm bringing it down. So I'm going to use the line here to kind of give myself a nice look. I'm going to use this to kind of help me drive this. So again, select the edge here and select this little point there, and then bring it down so it's straight, perpendicular. Right click, and now we can just adjust this by G keying it. I'm trying to get this to kind of come at a good angle here. So I'm going to place it right about here. So I want that to cut into it. So yeah, right about there. I think that will look kind of nice. Yeah, just trying to get a good feel for that. So then I'm going to use the line here and kind of start using it to add to this. So I'm going to go down. And then I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. So right click and then go back the other way. And we'll bring it out just a little bit. Sometimes you need to zoom in a little bit and right click. Actually, not like right click, just keep going down. Now right click once you get down to the bottom here. Left click and then right click. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and take these two lines and merge them together with the J key. So select them both, J, and that becomes one line. And now we can start manipulating the points. So let's select this major point here, do a B and pull it out so it's nice and smooth and rounded, not too much. And then these two sections here, B. We pull it out just a little bit, and the plus. There we go. Hit OK. All right, so this is a good way to start this. Now we can go back in and select the line and kind of move it in a little bit. So G key, we're going to bring it down a little bit and out. I just think it'll look a little bit better with a little thicker section there before the cut. All right, cool. So now select this piece, hit the C key, and then use the line, and then hit OK. Now we got two sections. So let's hide that. So I'm going to select this part right here, and I'm going to start working this. Use the line selection, select the line, and now I'm going to pull this out on the plus so we can kind of break it up from the other object. Don't do it too much though, because it will start pulling away. All right, about there. Great, hit OK. And now we can do the other side as well. So select the line and then pull this out again on the plus. You just don't want to go too much with it because it'll cause a pull on it. Okay, that looks really good. So now we can go in and start adjusting some things. So let's go select this and hide it. And now I'm going to select the actual surfaces. Okay, so all those are selected now, and we're going to actually go down to the bottom right side where the three dots are, and we're going to actually select the actual hollow section. So pushing won't work. We're going to go to the three dots here and hit hollow, and we're going to pull this out just a little bit, push it in, and there we go. It's still considered a solid because there's still some depth to it. And this is just for in case in the future I want to use something to go inside this thing here. So now I took the actual bottom section that we had created earlier with the curves, and I made a copy of it. So actually unhit it, and then I did a Shift D to create a copy, and then I brought it down, or I extruded it here. So just extrude it down. Got right there, hit OK. Now we could actually go in here and kind of adjust this a little bit. So I scaled it a little bit. Not too much. There we go. Okay, so select the line tool, and we're going to start selecting these edges after we hit OK. So select this one, Shift, this one, and we can turn the lines back on, see what we're doing, and this one, and this one. So we got those four. That's all we needed. And now we can pull this out with a nice fillet. Okay, so we pulled it out, made it a little bit into the plus, right about there. And now we can hit the OK button. Cool. Same with this one. The Alt key, we're going to now pull this out. So with the B key, pull this out on the plus, not too much, right about there. And hit the OK button. All right. Same thing on the bottom here, Alt key, pull this out, plus, hit OK. All right, cool. So I'm going to create a small hole here just to give it some variations. And again, I'm going to hit the G key after I created it, bring it outward, hit OK. And then I'm going to use the surface and push this all the way through on both sides, hit OK. And now we can select this main section here and this section and hit Q. Hit OK. And now we can go back to these sections with the line selection. And we're going to do a nice little bit of a fillet there as well. So we're going to pull this out a little bit on the plus, not too much, because it pulls a lot on this type of angle. So go ahead and OK. Alrighty. Okay, we're going to select this object here and just kind of bring it down so I can see what I'm doing. Actually bring it up so we can see where we want to cut this into the actual other object. So we brought it up to cut it. I just want to see how this is going to look. Yeah, I think that's going to look nice right there. And so we select the line here. And we're going to actually first hide this. So hide this. And now we're going to take this line and we're going to use this to cut into the other object. So we're going to move it up first with the G key. Bring it up. Hit OK. And now we can select a surface and push it through into the space. Not too much. And then we can go back down and hit those lines here. Again, we're going to put a nice soft fillet around this edge. So pull this out. There we go. Hit OK. Now take the object itself and go ahead and hit the G key and bring it down. So into the space, just like that. Now what I thought I would do is just make it a little bit deeper. So I'm going to use the actual surface here and bring it down farther. And just cut into it. So a little bit higher than the bottom. Hit OK. Now select this one, hit the Q. And there we go. Now we can go here and select it, Alt key, and pull it. Create a nice fillet there. And there we go, hit OK. All right, so let's go and change the color here with the M key. And we'll make this a little darker and hit OK. And we can then start hiding things. See what things are looking like. Yeah, I think that's coming along really nice. And we can get rid of this or bring it back up a little bit so it's nice and almost to the bottom of that. Go right past that hole there so we don't see it. Right about there. All right, hit OK.